Hey everyone! Welcome back! I am back today with more of my Jojolion Manga reviews, you guys. Chapters 5 through 8 today. That's right, we're doing the second ever batch of Jojolion. Guys, I gotta let you know a couple things right now, okay? First of all, it's gonna get even weirder. Like you thought it was weird last time, it's gonna get way weirder this time around. Like even rereading it, I'm like, what? Yeah. Just wait. Also gonna let you know, if I look weird, it is because I just spent the last 25 minutes bawling like a baby in my last reaction. Made the huge mistake of filming something else before this, and it ended up breaking me as a human being. So if I look weird, it's because of that. If I seem weird, it's because I got no sleep last night. So I am sleepless. I am cried out like a toddler. And honestly, it fits. It fits with this vibe because this whole thing is just about to feel like a fever dream. So, you know what? We're just going to go with it. It fits the vibe. It fits the vibe. Before I get started on recapping everything and jumping into these new chapters, I do just want to say, if you're joining me early today, you know just what that means. It means you are one of my awesome patrons. Thank you so very much. And as always, I am sending up those big old hugs right through that screen. And if not, still thank you for joining me today. I am glad you're here. I do hope you'll consider supporting me that way. The link to my Patreon is going to be in that description down below. As always, if you are joining me on the YouTubes, it would really mean a lot if you could hit like and subscribe for me. It helps me and my channel so much. So thank you in advance for that. All right, guys, so we kicked off the entire series last time, and wow, do we hit the ground running in this one. It's a really great start for a series. It just hooks you in immediately. You've got mystery, you've got intrigue, you've got little factoids and Easter eggs of things that, like, we know, but we don't know how they fit. We don't know how they connect. We don't know why they're there. And, like, all I can tell you is Araki does a really good job of, like, giving you answers and then kind of, like, more questions. So it's like, I was very pleased at the way that, like, we are kind of moving this along and, like, we're getting, like, snippets of facts every, you know, couple of chapters and everything in between all the other stuff that we're doing and establishing, because we're establishing a ton. We're going to establish even more this time around, trust me. But, like, we do kind of, like, keep it moving a little bit, which I think is really cool, and I think it really speaks to his writing style. Of course, like, by this point, he's already hit absolute peak with Steel Ball Run, so I feel like he has reached, like, God mode of writing and pretty much everything else. So yeah, so where we left off last time, Josuke was trying to get out of the apartment that is supposedly, allegedly his, aka Kira's, which is a whole other can of worms. And yeah, we have the stand user who's targeting him, and you have to get below him for it to work. And then once he's got it, I don't know if I mentioned that. I legit cannot remember if I mentioned this last time, but reminded me a little bit of Anya's stand, the way that, you know, like with the wounds and everything, now you're being puppeteered. I think I said that last time. But yeah, so of course we've had a ton going on, and it's gotten weirder and weirder, and it's only going to escalate from here. Just trust me on that. So let's dive right in, you guys. Let's not waste any time because we have a gents batch today. Chapter 5. So Josuke's trying to get out through the veranda, and he only has one place left on his body where he's not marked. I think it was like his right leg or something. As he's running away, we see that there's a reptile encyclopedia lying on the ground. That's got to be important. So Josuke jumps out a window, and he crashes through it like the Kool-Aid Man, you guys. Like, that's the only way to describe it. Only to find that there's a snake there, and it bites his leg. So fortunately, it's not turning into a mark, which means that the stand user trying to attack him has lost track of where he is. So Josuke's on the veranda, and the guy is like one full, like, apartment above, like waving the snake and like dangling the snake. I'm just like, what is happening right now? We got snakes. We got like, it wasn't weird enough without throwing snakes in there. Okay, just checking. So Josuke, having been bitten, is starting to have trouble breathing. So he looks down at the book about reptiles and surprise, surprise, we find out it's venom, poison from the snake, whatever. So next to the book is a hacksaw that says, like a little label maker on it. Why not just cut it off? I have so many questions about why the hacksaw says that. I don't know if it was labeled ahead of time. I don't know if this is like a manifestation of the I don't know. And you know what? I don't need to know. All I need to know is that we're living up to the bizarre title here. What is happening? So we learn that Josuke can't use his soap bubble on himself, so he can't steal the poison out of himself. And I just thought that was interesting because A, it's a little bit more establishing about his stand, and B, it kind of reminds me of Crazy Diamond, the way that original recipe Josuke in part 4 could not use Crazy Diamond on himself. So it's kind of interesting because the soap bubble is a pretty, like if you know how to use it, it's a pretty cool power, right? Like you could do a lot with that, but there are some limitations. So I kind of like that we're doing a little bit of world building that way. So all of a sudden Josuke gets flashbacks of the guy that we're fighting. And he's like, it looks like he's getting some memories back. Like we can't really tell, but like he has flashes. So the phone inside the apartment starts ringing, and Naked Girl, remember Naked Girl from last time, Naked Bathtub Girl, tells him that it's the guy upstairs calling and they can't make any noise or answer it or do anything or else he's going to know exactly where they are. So she starts to explain that like her whole life she's been used, like by family, by friends, by boys, and she's like, I am not going to die like this. And at first I'm like, you know, well, like, it's good for you. Good for you. She answers the phone and tells the guy where Josuke is in the room. And I'm just like, girl, this was not the way to assert yourself as an independent person. Just, okay. So Josuke starts getting wrecked and he's being compelled to bring this like hacksaw to his mouth. Because we know that like the guy can control what you're doing and everything. So it's almost in his mouth when Yasuho shows back up. Perfect timing, or is it? Because Josuke sees her and tells her to run. She goes to try and open the door and he finally lets go of the saw, only for it to hit her on the hand, like, and just like was thrown at her. And it gives her a mark. So now she's got a mark too. So he explains to her that what happened just now was this enemy stand that we're fighting. But fortunately, Josuke managed to get his shoulder free during the whole incident. So he explains that his soap bubble took the friction on the ceiling. So the guy upstairs like slipped and fell. And he also mentions that like he thinks the guy upstairs is actually Kira. So now we've got like, it's like, who is Kira? Where is Kira? Who is the real Kira? It's a whole thing. So the guy can't get back up because there's no friction on the floor. So he starts sliding, but then so does Josuke. He starts sliding too. And so the guy is going to the veranda and that's where Josuke is getting dragged as well. And there's glass and the snake like right in his, like, look at the screenshot, guys, because it's right in his path and it's not in a good way, like, if you know what I mean, like it's it. So yeah, we see the soap bubble fly out and he crashes into the glass. So apparently he can't get full control over him, and now Josuke knows the guy's exact location too, so kind of a good thing in a way. So his plan is to have the bubble go inside and take his eyesight, but leaving just enough to be able to see a little bit of light, because when your vision is in complete darkness, you naturally want to walk in the direction where there's more light. So you have to be able to, there has to be a little bit of light. So, we see the guy crashing through and falling, and Soft and Wet just starts like pummeling him. And the last thing we see is Josuke asking, so you're Kira. Finn. That was my stomach. I'm sorry. Finn to chapter 5. That feels like a short one. I'm hoping I didn't leave anything out. But I think it was more just like us kind of moving through the action stuff, and then we're going to get a little bit more resolution in chapter 6. And most of these chapters are pretty long, so I'm not going to complain about a short chapter. But yeah, guys, notable things in there. A good action scene, good battle scene. We get that little tidbit about Soft and Wet, about the soap bubble, that he can't use it on himself. I don't know if they had mentioned that before, so I thought that was like really notable. The guy Yasuho came back. We know Yasuho was like kind of like, he just really doesn't, I don't know. Like, really? Is he really a guy that likes fingernails and kidnapping girls? Like, did he give you that vibe? Now, in a way, I can't blame her a bit. Like, I cannot blame her for GTFOing because I've seen so many horror movies at this point. If people had just gotten out, not stuck around, not asked questions, not gone upstairs, etc., etc. So I get it. But at the same time, I'm glad she came back. And I think that honestly, her intuition's leading her right on this one, because at this stage, I was like, oh my God, I think maybe he's Kira, but maybe he's not. My best guess was, even if he was Kira and Kira was also a serial killer in this iteration, the guy we know now is clearly not that guy. So even it's still layered. So yeah, so we are still in the middle of this fight, you guys. I will go ahead and jump into chapter 6 because, like I said, they are pretty dense and the majority of stuff is going to happen in these later chapters. So I'm going to kind of speed run through that first chapter where we're just kind of getting where we're going. Chapter 6, we start off with some helpful recaps and intros to different characters. There's little maps, and this kind of becomes the standard as we go on. There's little, I don't know if it's every single chapter, but pretty frequently we have recaps of this is the character, this is where they're at, this is what they think about themselves, this is what they're doing, this is what we know about them. And we also get a pic and explanation of the enemy stand, fun, like the Beach Boys song. So yeah, so just there's really nice, Steel Ball Run had this too. First couple of pages kind of have a little bit of info, some pretty cover arts. Only this one I think has a little bit more in the way of keeping you on track with the story so far. So I just thought I would mention that, throw it out there, that it's a cool addition. So Josuke catches the stand user. Stuff goes flying around. The snake goes flying. The naked girl and Yasuho are just watching huh? And the guy has syringes on him, and it turns out it's the antidote to the snake toxin, because that makes sense. The guy is shocked. He's now that he's up close with Josuke, he's like, wait, you're like this is impossible and all this stuff. And I'm like, what did you just realize, sir? What is happening? So Josuke demands that the guy starts talking and tell him who he is, and the guy is just super freaked out and nervous. So he's noticed something that psyched him out so badly. So Josuke's like, oh hey, this is so cute, you guys. When I tell you that the tone of this one, much like part 4, is very lighthearted. It's not that it actually is. It's just that we get these little moments that I live for. So Josuke is like, oh, hey, Yasuho, could you look over there for a second, please? And she does it. And then he's punching the guy and swearing at him and all this stuff. And it's so funny. So the guy's like, okay, let me see those hand sculptures, please. I won't attack you anymore. You're not Kira. You're not him at all. So he's like, the sculptures, I think we mentioned there were little hands in the back, or I feel like we mentioned that in the last one, that there were hand statues, because they were right by the Mona Lisa, and fingernails and all that good stuff. Whatever. Not here to judge, I'm not here to shame. it is what it is. So this guy's like, these sculptures were made by Kira in the shape of his own hands, and they don't match your hands, so you're not him. And he's also just throwing in the stuff about like, wow, these are like really beautiful hands, right? And I'm like, how many people have a hand fetish in this universe? Like, one was already something. I'm just saying. I guess maybe he just appreciates a good hand. So Josuke is like still like on the offensive. He's like, don't mess around with me. I know that you're Kira because you're the one who kidnapped those girls. And he's like, no, I'm just the guy from upstairs. And so Josuke just hits him again. And I'm like, that's fair. So Josuke does this thing where he's like, what's that? I didn't quite hear that. And it reminded me of the times when like Joseph did that. Oh my God, just warmed my heart so much. And Josuke's just being so cheeky right now. He really is. Like he's a phenomenal boy because you never know when he's going to be like puppy. You never know when he's going to be like just aggressive or like a little bit cheeky. So yeah. So the guy is like, I am not Kira, but you're not Kira either. Look, we both messed up. Like, we were both wrong. So Josuke asked Naked Girl, like, hey, is this the guy who kidnapped you? And she's like, yeah, it is. So Josuke's like, hey, would you do me a favor, Yasuho, and just look up one more time? And she's stunned. She's like, oh. And he's just swearing and punching the guy again. And at this point, I legit have no clue if she's just playing along or if she is actually, like, if this is actually working on her. But either way, it is hilarious. And it is such a good running joke. And it's the comedy's on point here. So Josuke's like, last time I checked, you got bitten by the snake and you need the antidote. So why don't you start telling me the truth? So the guy's like, here, check this picture in my pocket. And we see the picture. And it is the hottest sailor I've ever seen in my life. Like, wow. I mean, I don't mean to simp, but like, just everything's working. Everything's working here, you guys. And I just like, I don't know how to feel about it because like, this is Kira. And I gotta tell you, I know a lot of people like Kira, blonde Kira, or the white and black Kira, hair from part 4 or whatever. I know for some of you, like that was your guy. That was your husbando. Like that was your, you do you. That's good for you. But I gotta tell you, like, oh, it just feels like, for me, personally, I feel like Kira's look got a big upgrade. He is smoking in part 8. Like, wow. Okay, so just a simp session over, okay? I just had to do it. So to be fair, like, he does look a lot like Josuke, but, like, okay, I'm not done because Kira's got, like, he's got, like, the bedroom eyes. It's just, yeah. Like, I think Josuke's very cute in this, too. Like, he is very sweet, and he's got, you know, he's definitely got a lot going for him physically and everything. One could argue maybe he has a little too much going for him physically, if you know what I mean, south of the border. Anywho, this guy, he looks different, but he does look similar. So, like, I'll give all these people that were, like, mistaking him for Josuke. So apparently our sand user had a big grudge against Kira, so he purposefully, like, rented out the apartment above him, kidnapped the girl, framed Kira to make it look like he did it, planted the needles and the thumbtacks, let the snakes loose, like all the stuff, and then waited 3 days for him to show up. But then he mistook Josuke for Kira. And I'm like, first of all, that's petty AF. Like, that, there's petty, and then there's, this is a whole new level of petty. Like, I can't even, like, I'm trying to sit here and imagine, like, what could have happened between these two, and just wait till we get into it, guys, because it's weird. So, second, the guy says, that they look so much alike, but their hands are totally different, and Josuke is actually younger, and all this stuff, so, like, I guess they're not the same person. They were just really, they looked alike, is what it would seem. Put a pin in it. We are coming back to it. They're wearing the same clothes, and they look so much alike that, like, even the shop owner too. The shop owner was like, yeah, you came in like 3 days ago and got a hat, and like mistook him for Kira. So like this was an honest mistake, it feels like. Pretty much. Like this was not really necessarily on anybody. Except, you know, the whole like all the other stuff was definitely on the guy, like kidnapping a girl and all that good stuff. So Josuke demands to know who this guy is. So the guy tells him his name is Ojiro. He's a surfer. Apparently Kira is a doctor on a ship, which would explain the sailor outfit. So a few years ago, Ojiro was hanging out on his surfboard, and a girl he had taken to the beach with him was swimming beneath him, and he ended up like I think more or less accidentally using his stand on her. Like he's saying like he didn't mean to kill her. I think maybe this was just an accident is kind of how they're painting it. Now, again, this is all from this guy's perspective, so who knows, but that's kind of how it sounds. So apparently his childhood home got wrecked and replaced by the walleyes after the earthquake, and at some point when he was a kid, he realized he had this stand ability. So Ojiro met Kira that summer and started to get friendly with him, and he's just going on about the hands again, you guys. Like, I legit think maybe he just made friends with him because he really liked his hands. Which is really saying something, especially considering this is Kira we're talking about, and somebody was like that into his hands. I mean, maybe did he meet his match here? Doesn't seem like it, depending on how they did not get along. But let's keep going. So this guy actually says that he got the vibe from Kira that he was murdering people, and I'm like, you don't say. And Kira, like, straight out tells him, like, he doesn't like him. Apparently, he asks him if a surfer is a person of the sea or a person of the land. Confusing. And apparently, Ojiro took offense to this, so he threatened to kill him. Like, you know, any self-respecting surfer would. He just jumped right to, I'll kill you. This whole exchange is so weird. I gotta wonder if we're seeing it from Ojiro's perspective and that's why some of it doesn't add up, or if they just really are this weird. I don't know. You tell me. So Kira just reiterates that he didn't like the ambiguity of what he did. And he's like, it makes you not a man. And I'm like, Did something like, the only thing I can think of is like maybe Kira saw what happened with the girl and that's why he doesn't like the guy. Cause I'm like, otherwise it just really looks like Kira randomly found a dude on the beach and just does not like him cause he's a surfer. Like for no real, like non-vague reason. He's just kind of hassling him. But there's got to be something more than that, right? So Josuke's like, is this going somewhere? Get to the point, please. And I'm like, thank you so much, because what even? So he explains that he started drinking and doing drugs because of the hard time that Kira gave him about being so indecisive about like a land person or a sea person or something. So, okay, this is where like, I hope you're ready for this. I don't think there's any way it could be. So Kira says to him, if you are a man, prove it and eat. And I'm like, I don't like the sound of that. I really don't like the sound of that. And I shouldn't, because Ojiro did in fact eat. Apparently he ate all his fingernails, and not just those, but also the bones and the flesh beneath them, you guys. What even? What even? I legit don't know if this is like even true or not, or if like maybe if this person was like abusing substances. If like half of this is just because it gets weirder and weirder, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't deny that Kira probably was very weird. I mean, he had jars of fingernails in his apartment, you guys. Like, it's hard to fight the weird allegations. You know what I mean? When you got something like that. If you're not hurting anybody, then great. You know, like do your thing with your fingernails and your Mona Lisa and whatever, and just, you know, mind your business and whatever. I don't know how I feel about him like harassing people and telling them to like eat their, but then he did, and he ate the, I gotta think a lot of this has to do with substances. Like, yeah, like, Kira shouldn't have given him a hard time, I guess, but, like, and it's weird to tell him to eat his fingernails, but this guy took it so far, like, so much farther than he had to. So Josuke's just like, who even are you people? And I'm like, fair. What? Who's Kira and where is he? So they've noticed that the girl, naked girl, is gone. And Josuke says he can't blame her for taking off after all that. And I'm like, fair. But he notices something in the background of the photo of Kira that we just saw. And I can't really tell at this point what they meant, but we are going to circle back to it, so don't worry about it. Josuke asks Yasuho why she came back, and she says it's because he reminded her of her dog. That's a good reason, okay? That's a bona fide good reason. It also just occurred to me that Koichi had a dog too, Police. Wouldn't it have been crazy if the dog in this had been called Police, and then we were just calling Josuke Police? I guess it worked out that his name was Josuke in this. Okay. So, he asked her why she came back. It's because of the dog thing. And she realized that nothing about the circumstances or even the apartment really fit the idea, the impression that she had of him. So Josuke's like, hang on, can you just look over there for me real quick? And we know it's coming, right? Because they've been having this running joke throughout. He kicks the guy and he's like, okay, let's get out of here. So Yasuho starts thinking back about everything and they end up at the place in the background of Kira's photo. And surprise, surprise, it's the same place where she found Josuke. So like these two are definitely connected and God, you just have no idea. You just have no idea. So she explains that the police already looked there, but Josuke's like, yeah, but they didn't go underground or anything, right? So he uses a soap bubble and breaks the ground open. Lo and behold, they see an arm sticking out, a hand, very apropos considering. And yeah, an autopsy shows that it is in fact Kira. Which I gotta say is a bummer because I kind of would have liked to have gotten to know him a little bit. Like, and not just because he's hot, okay? Come on now. But that too. But also just because, I don't know, like, I don't know. Maybe we still will. Through like, digging up info about him, right? So he died 3 days earlier of a heart attack, according to all of this. And as soon as I read that, I was like, a sheer heart attack, perhaps? Sorry, guys. I'm not going to stop with the JoJo references. Like, I can't. I'm physically incapable. So there was nothing to suggest foul play, except that he was buried, which, you know, would suggest something intentional. So when Yasuho found Josuke, Kira was already buried there, apparently. But that's not all. But wait, there's more. The autopsy also revealed he had no balls. None. And they hadn't been removed or anything. The area was just smooth, like they were never there. So let me get this straight. Kira was dead and buried in the same place that Josuke was found. They look almost exactly alike. And Josuke's sand is a bubble that takes things? And he has 4 balls and Kira has none. That's raising some red flags. So I gotta tell you a really, really funny just little thing. I was telling Mr. Hime about some of this that I had read. Of course, I was trying to keep like the names and faces and dates and places and everything very vague, but I just couldn't help. It was such a good story that I had to share with him like a little bit about what was going on without giving too much away. And I was telling him how weird it is that like we're still dealing with balls. And when I told him like how weird this was, that there was, okay, so we got this one guy who's got 4 balls, this other guy's got none. He made the funniest joke, which was, you could call this one steal balls, run. like steal, like S-T-E-A-L. It's true. It's true. And I gotta believe that's what happened, okay? Like, it's his stand takes things. Like, I don't know how or why. Like, don't ask me for a motive. But, I mean, the evidence is there. So, Yasuho explains after that, that Joshu's family, the Higashikatas, took in Josuke. So they kept the nickname Josuke, but they gave him their family name, Higashikata, which means, yes, we officially have the new Josuke Higashikata. And yes, totally different from anything that we had experienced previously, which I think is a good thing, because let Josuke just, let like this Josuke right here just be like completely his own thing, because he's perfect. And, you know, let's just reinvent, like, let's just reimagine something totally new, which was, it's what Araki did, and I'm proud of him. The last thing we see is some kids playing in the street on their bikes, and they bump into a trash can that has like a person's legs sticking out of it. And the person in the trash can is like, I want to go home to Tokyo, please. Finn to chapter 6. I gotta tell you, before I even recap this chapter, tell you what I thought about it, I have to tell you a really, really cool theory that I had after this. So, what I was thinking is, I was thinking clone. My mind went to clone. And I didn't have all the details, but I came up with such a good theory. And I just want to share it with you guys. I cooked so hard on this theory. Okay, so follow my logic here, okay? So in Steel Ball Run, we had a mention, I think, of the Speedwagon Foundation. Like, they were mentioned, but we didn't really, like, I don't think we met Speedwagon. It was like right at the beginning. We didn't meet Speedwagon. We didn't know anything about him. Now, follow my logic here, okay? Without meeting Jonathan, or in this universe, Johnny, Speedwagon would have stayed like in street crime, right? Like, he would have been like a thug if he hadn't met and had the influence of Jonathan. So you could argue, what if in this universe he never gets that influence, stays kind of like on the wrong side of things, but ends up striking the oil and becomes rich and still starts Speedwagon Foundation, which we know there is a Speedwagon Foundation. And they are like dabbling in some things that are not as nice as what our Speedwagon was doing, you know? Not so much to protect humanity or get to the bottom of these weird supernatural elements or anything like that, but maybe something a little bit more sinister, or even just a little bit less, you know, morally inclined, we'll say that. And what if they were doing cloning, and this is like a failed clone of Kira? I don't know why specifically Kira. Maybe the ship was a Speedwagon organization, a Speedwagon Foundation ship, and he was the doctor there. I have no clue. But yeah, they ditched them both. I don't know. I think it cooks pretty hard. I love my theory. I'm gonna hold that theory nice and tight, because yeah, I'm just gonna tell you right now, where we're going is not real. We're going away from that theory. But I thought it was great, and I wanted to share it with you. So chapter 6 was really good. We have the resolution to the fun Ojiro fight. We find out he was really after Kira, and Josuke's not Kira at all. Pretty much, although put a pin in that, because we're still gonna be going down the weird path. So, but we know now at least that they are two different people. At least they're two different bodies. We found the body of Kira. I think it's kind of a shame that we don't even get to know him before he dies. But now we have the mystery of his death and why Josuke looks so much like him, and has seemingly. It would seem to me that he has some appendages from Kira, and not in a... See, now that's the only weird thing, okay? Is that it wasn't like... If it was a cloning thing, Why was it not like a surgical removal? Like, that suggests to me more like a stand thing. Like it was a stand that like absorbed. And maybe that is what it is. Maybe they were clones. Maybe he was a clone of him. But he just like, I don't know, he panicked and he used a stand by accident and he absorbed his... I don't, you know what? I'm not the writer here, you guys. I'm just some person who reads stuff and watches stuff. So I'll leave that to Araki Sensei, where it belongs. But chapter 6 was really good. I love that Yasuho came back. I love that she has this really good intuition. Again, a lot like Koichi, because we saw Koichi with both Josuke and the whole gang. And even with Giorno, just kind of have like this really good like judge of character about the whole thing, you know? So I like that. And yeah, we got a big old bombshell with the whole Kira thing. Like, we know a lot more, yet we don't. And get used to that, because like we will, like I said, we will get things revealed, over time, and we'll get like answers, but then they'll open up more questions as to like, what? Like, why or how? Huh? And it's gonna get so much better / worse from here in terms of that. So I'm just gonna jump right into chapter 7, because now, as we know, Josuke is living with the Higashikata family, and aside from Joshi, we don't really know them yet. So I don't know about you, but I was like, tell me everything, because clearly these gotta be descendants of Norisuke, and like, how did we get here? So, chapter 7, Josuke is in the Higashikata family car, and the dad is asking him which one he likes better, like this Transformer, Voltron, Toku-looking toy, or this little pink teddy bear. Also, little pink teddy bear, is it a reference to Gyro? Because if it is, love it. So Josuke picks the bear, and the dad explains that means he's a Yankee? Like, I look at that and I want to say Yankee, but I think in Japanese it would be pronounced Yankee. I don't know exactly what that translates to directly, but I'm just gonna say it the way it looks like it would be pronounced. So also, meanwhile, this whole time the dad is like fumbling big time while trying to take like pictures in the car, and it's actually pretty cute. So he explains that it can mean a lot psychologically, like which one of these toys you pick. So apparently a Yankee loves fluffy things like stuffed animals or fluffy towels and rugs, but like not so much action figures. So he also notices that Josuke takes his shoes off in the car, but then the dad puts his feet up and is like, guess what? I do too. So I guess I'm a Yankee too. And I'm just like, oh my God, like the dad's vibe is so good so far. Like, it's so good. So Yasuho's like, hey, I'll take my shoes off too. And it's a super cute moment. And it's like, God, I just live for these. I live for just like the cute stuff. I would say I'm a Yankee too, except that I do also like action figures. But mostly I do love the fluffy and stuffy things. So which one are you? Leave it in the comments if you think you are one as well. I'm curious to know. So, yeah, Josuke's like, well, does that mean I'm like not a good person? And the dad's like, no, it's just like a different outlook on things. So they pull up to the Higashikata mansion, and the dad explains that his great-grandfather came in second place in this horse race back in the day and was able to start a business importing foreign fruit because of it, and that business has been passed down. And this guy, our dad here, is also called Norisuke, so it's a family name. He's taking in Josuke as an act of public service, as sort of a way of like paying it forward that they were like blessed with this good fortune, I guess, back in the day, and now it just keeps going. So he shows him the fruit seller's mark and the Higashikata family crest, and he takes him in so that they can do a family photo together. And so like so far, like this seems like a really nice situation. The dad seems really sweet, and I'm like, this family must be really nice, except for maybe like Joshu, who I already don't like. But like, you know, every family sometimes has one, you know, like I'm not gonna fault them for that. So Josuke notes that he can see the wall eyes from this mansion. Will that be important later? Because I feel like the wall eyes, there's always been something a little bit weird about them. Just kind of their the way they got there and just all these things that happen around them. And I'm kind of wondering if they're going to play a bigger part later. So Yasuho tells Josuke that the autopsy showed Kira died of illness when I thought they just said it was heart attack, but whatever. He died of something that apparently doesn't look like fishy, I guess. No pun intended because he was a sailor, but, and apparently he had no family, and Josuke's thinking like, maybe I don't have any family either. And I'm like, baby boy, oh, I just want to hug you. But then Joshu shows up, and Joshu starts to tease Josuke about his name. But the dad starts to kind of like wrestle him and like pull his ear a little bit and kind of like give him a hard time. And I'm like, yes. Now this really pretty blonde shows up and is like, ooh, what's this? A magazine on the floor. And she's like, oh, who is this on the front? Oh my God, it's me. And she offers to like sell them the magazine with her on the cover. So apparently I guess she's like a model. So her and Joshu are just like arguing and being generally like silly, immature, bitter siblings. And like, I don't know, it's just, it feels very like for this, it feels very normal so far. So I'm like, okay, well, good. We're gonna find out. So then this girl with this little bear hood just appears behind Josuke and is like, hey, do you like Misty Mellotron? And Josuke's just like, hello to you too. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. And so Yasuho explains that she's talking about music, and she's actually talking specifically about the band Yes. And boy, if they mention Roundabout in here, is it going to just make my heart sing in the best possible way. So apparently she loves music and she loves Yes. Her name is Daya. And I was so on board with her here. I'm like, oh my God, this girl's cute. She has a little bear hood. She loves Yes. I'm on board. So then we get everyone, almost the whole family, in one place with a nice little caption of their names, their ages, their relations. The model is Hato, the eldest daughter. The Yes girl is Daya, the second daughter. And then there's Joshu, who we all know. Mitsuba, who's the wife of the eldest son, and their kid, Tsurugi. I hope I'm saying that right. Then this person shows up trying to take Josuke's hat for the picture. And he's like, no, thank you. And also, who are you? Apparently, her name is Nijimura. And she takes care of the house. And I'm just like, oh my God, you guys, we literally will have every character in Morio reference before the end of this. For anyone who may not have remembered the name, it is Okuyasu's last name and his brother's. So yeah. So is this person supposed to be Okuyasu? Because they sure don't act like Okuyasu, but put a pin in that because I think some of the answers will surprise you. So the dad lines everyone up for the photo and wants Josuke in the center, but of course Joshu is all upset about that because he's always in the center. And the dad basically tells Joshu just to like STFU, and I'm like, thank God. He tells the Nijimura person to get in the photo as well, and poor Yasuho's just like off in the corner, and she's like, that's okay, like this is a family photo, like it wouldn't make sense for me to be in it. And Josuke just reaches back and like takes her hand and pulls her into the photo and is like, you know, you're in it too. And I'm just like, oh, I just love them so much. So Joshu sees him holding hands and of course is all panicked. So he tells the dad like, hey, you know Big Brother isn't here, right? And the dad's like, oh, Jobin's not here? Well, there's no use in doing the photo then. And he just takes off. He's just like, it's like, why did we spend 15 minutes on this? So he's like, you know what? I'll give you a tour of the house. So Norisuke shows him his room and Josuke his room. And he's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And Joshu's like, wait, I thought this was my room. And I'm like, Joshu does kind of get picked on a lot, but he's so unlikable that it's like, I feel like it's justified. So the dad tells him he can stay in the room above the garage, but he's not happy about it. And the dad just slips him like some yen and is like, you know what? Can you just get along with Josuke, please? Like, So that takes care of that, and he tells Josuke he wants to talk to him about something. Norisuke does. So he puts his arm around him and he's like, hey, I know I said we were taking you in as a public service, but like, nothing's free, right? And I'm like, uh-oh. Please don't go bad. So he just gets really serious and is like, anything I say in this house goes. And I'm just like, oh my God. And Josuke's like, yes, sir. He's like being super polite and respectful. So then Norisuke goes on to explain that Daya, the yes girl, the youngest daughter, has poor eyesight and can barely see. So he's asking Josuke to look after her from now on. And I'm like, there's a lot wrong with this, okay? Like, it's good to unpack this is gonna take a second because, like, first of all, why not just tell him those are the conditions in the first place? Like, why not just tell him, like, hey, I have a place for you to stay. I would like to be able to help you out. Maybe you could help me out too. You can stay here in exchange for taking care of, you know, providing care to my daughter who, you know, has issues with her eyesight. What is so hard about that? I don't understand why we would be like, oh, we're doing you this huge favor. Guess what? You're doing this now. And also, like, why would the dad just take this person who he's just met, who he has no idea, like, of any kind of experience of providing care or anything, like, or even the kind of person that he is, like, quite frankly, he doesn't know anything about him, and just be like, yeah, so you're my daughter's, you work with my daughter now. I don't know about that. If something's off, something's real off. And even Josuke's like, gee, I really don't know if I'm cut out for that. And Norisuke's like, nah, you'll get the hang of it. So Daya just runs up and attacks him with a hug. And you can see that Yasuho's like, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, 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 no. And Daya's just rubbing on him, like rubbing on him, you guys. And Yasuo's like, excuse me? And I'm like, oh my God, girl, please tell me this isn't happening to my ship so soon. So the dad tells our Nijimura friend to see Yasuho out. And Norisuke tells Josuke that he has, like, one more thing to tell him. So he's like, see those stairs? You're never to go to the room at the top of those stairs. Like, don't even get near that staircase. Got it? And then we see Nijimura walking Yasuho out, and she says that Norisuke gave her a message to give to her. And the message is, don't go tempting Joshu. And don't even come back into this house again. And Yasuo's just like, I'm sorry, I'm doing what to Joshu? Like, what? Huh? And she continues to say that the message is, don't ever meet with Josuke again. Don't go poking your nose where it doesn't belong, or harm will come to your family. So by this point, I'm like, okay, well, there goes the nice, happy, cute, fun dad. Because what even? Why would you threaten someone's family? Why would you trick someone into caring for your daughter? Like, what is going on here? And to be honest with you, Norisuke and Steel Ball Run, I could see him going either way. Like, he was always kind of a weird dude. Like, he didn't hurt anything that I'm aware of. You know, he's just doing his thing in the race. But, like, yeah, it's starting to add up now, you guys. So, yeah. So we cut to Josuke thinking about the mark that he saw on the stairs and the fact that it has a very distinct shape and he feels like he's seen it before. So then he sees Daya trying to make some tea for herself and he starts to try and help her. And she's like, oh, Dad told you to watch me, didn't he? And she's like, look, I really just want you to treat me normally. I don't want you fussing over me, okay? Like, your job is to act natural. And I'm like, you know what? That's fair. Nobody wants to be, you know, treated a certain way or anything. Like, yeah, okay. So she says she knows every single part of the room and she can handle all of it herself. And he's like, well, then what's my job then? What do I do? And she's like, I don't know. Just do your thing and act casual, I guess. Like, so he sees her starting to pour the tea and it's like a foot away from the teacup. So he rushes in to try to help. And she's like, that's not acting natural. And she said, look, I don't want to scare you, but not acting natural is a landmine. Got it? And she compares it to like a prog rock band that fights and disbands. And even if you try to put them back together, like it'll never be the same. And I'm like, that's very specific, but I get it because I know like that's where you're at. Like that's where your mind is at. So I get it. It's like, it'd be like me making a JoJo reference. So then we see a bunch of these flowery little critters come out and they take a chunk out of her leg. And she's like sniffling and he's like, what? Finn to chapter 7, you guys. That was a big one. That was a big old chapter. We got to meet the family. Honestly, most of them seem okay, except the ones that we got to know. So maybe none of them are okay, because like Joshu, I'm done with. Norisuke, I had such high hopes for because he was being like kind of this sweetie pie and sort of cute, and it seemed like he was like a caring, good, decent person. And then it was kind of like, now I'm kind of questioning your motives. And then there was just straight up threat to Yasuho's family. And I'm like, okay, I'm not on board anymore. I'm not on board. I'm not on board with you. Like, I don't know what's happening or like why. I can't help but shake the feeling at this point that like, did they specifically want Josuke there? Like, do they know something about him? Do they, like, why just bring in this random stranger and then give him a task like that and then be so strict with Yasuho about it? Like, don't get near him or like, we're gonna hurt you and your family. So yeah, and then the whole staircase thing, and honestly, one of the first things I thought there too was like, okay, well, we haven't seen the mom. Is that where they're keeping the mom? Like, where's the mom at? Are they keeping the mom up in the attic or something, so like dead or alive, I don't know. At this point, I honestly don't know. Was this the one where we did like the autopsy with Kira and everything, or was that, no, that was last time. Yeah, so in this one, we just got to know the Higashikata family, which honestly was really, really fun. So we learned what happened with Norisuke after the Steel Ball Run race. Apparently, he invested in a business. It did pretty well. Like, they're still doing well all these generations later. I'm glad that we were able to connect it back. Because, like, once I saw Higashikata, I'm like, okay, well, this has got to have to do with Norisuke. Only this is, like, over 100 years later. So can you kind of fill me in on how we got here? And when I tell you, it's going to get so much more interesting. Like, if that was where it ended, it'd be like, wow, cool, okay. Thanks for filling me in. We're not even scratching the surface of the family stuff right now, you guys. Like, just wait. I think it's in like I think it's going to be next batch where we get to like a bigger explanation of the family tree. It is wild. It is wild. So yeah, what else did I want to say about that? Do I have any more theories or anything? I think I said most of them. So Daya, I liked at first and now I don't know. I think we're to assume that the little flowery things were her stands and they're super cute. I gotta say, I love the design because honestly, it's giving late 90s, kind of like that late 90s throwback to the late 60s. Which is really fun because, part 4 took place in 1999. So I don't know if that's like what he was trying to get at specifically. I just see the little daisy things and I'm like, ooh, it's giving late 90s, early millennium. For those of you who are there and you remember it, yeah, that was we stole a lot of things from the 60s and then like passed it off as our own. So I guess like all generations do that, like nothing is really original anymore. So anywho, I like that she likes Yes, but she's definitely getting super friendly with Josuke. And I don't like it, and I don't like it interfering with my ship. And I really don't like them throwing Yasuho out and like threatening her and all that. So like, I don't know what that's about, but no, thank you. Like, Yasuho hasn't done anything. She's such a good girl, guys. Like, just leave her alone. Leave her alone. Yeah. So we didn't get much new on Kira in this one. But We will. Don't worry. In the next one. So let's just jump right into our last chapter for the day, you guys. Chapter 8. So last we were doing Daya's leg is slashed open and Josuke's just like, what is it? There's nobody else here. What is happening? So he's trying to figure out where the phone is. He's trying to figure out if she's burned or like what the wound is specifically. And then we see him thinking of that familiar symbol from the staircase again. And he realizes that Kira had the same mark on his wrist. So how are they linked? Why would Kira have a mark that matches one in the Higashikata house? Like, what is the connection there? So Josuke goes back to inspecting Daya's wound, but surprise, it's gone. And he's looking all over, and he even like flips her over, and she's like a little too into it when he flips her over, and she's like, ooh, and I'm like, yeah. So he's like, what happened? And she's like, fairness is rules. Rules are power. And you are not supposed to fuss over me, remember? And then we see a little bubble come out of his eye. And the mark that we've been talking about is in the bubble. And by the way, she's just like, this whole thing is going on. She's just like, I love you. And I'm just like, girl. Like, I get it. I get that he's fine. You know, at least he's a fine sailor guy. Like, okay, but chill. Like, I know that's coming from me, right? When I just like had like my my incident over Kira when he was introduced a few chapters ago, and like, oh. Yeah. So the bubble goes bouncing around, but she catches it and she puts it on a chess piece. And then she sets the chess piece with like all these other ones that have all these other bubble things in them, like bubble things. Like one's a cat, it's a cat in a bubble, and one's like a bike in a bubble, and there's all kinds of stuff, and they're all like bubbles that are now stored like in chess pieces. So he's looking at all these pieces thinking like, I feel like I've lost something important just now. So she explains that the pieces are memories, and the cat is even like a dream. And I think it's the cat's dream. She says it's like Nyanko's dream, and Nyan is kind of like, it's kind of like it's a kitty thing. I think Nyan is what they say instead of meow. So we stole a cat's dream. I don't ask me. I didn't write it. Don't ask me. So she's like, yeah, I like to roll them on my cheeks. And I'm just like, of course you do. Of course you do. So he asks what the one with the mark inside of it is, because he says he feels like he kind of knows it, but he can't, like he's struggling to even like get his mind around it. So she explains, out of fairness, according to her, that she has an ability called a stand, and she knows that he has one too. She says she fell into these faults as a toddler and her vision deteriorated, but in exchange, she got an ability. Now, two reasons this stood out to me a lot. One, it's weird because like, how does she know the word stand? Because historically, throughout all the parts, like nobody just knows that. Somebody has to be told that, you know what I mean? So like, it makes you wonder how many other stand users are around in this family. Also, the whole thing with the faults, oh yeah, I also mentioned, like, that's not something that Norisuke knew, I don't think he knew, like, original Norisuke, I don't think he knew about stands, like, he wasn't really involved in any of that, I don't think he had a stand, or that they ever showed, like, he was just doing his thing, doing the horse race, like, he really wasn't mixed up in all that. So the other thing is, are they trying to build up this whole area with the faults and the walleyes and all that as like the new Devil's Palm? Because it's feeling that way. So yeah. So she says that her stand is called California King Bed, and that it can take a memory from a person. So it kind of reminds me of Whitesnake a little bit, only kind of specifically for memories, not like people's stand. Well, not people's stands, but you'll see. She says, because you broke the fairness rule, I took it. And he thinks she means his stand, but she actually means the memory. But he can't seem to like remember that he had a memory taken, and he like his whole mind is just like blank around it. It's very weird. Like you'll see in the screenshots, like it's really like it just got plucked out. Like, you know, it's almost kind of like it's kind of like Heaven's Door too, because you could do the same thing with Heaven's Door. You could do anything with Heaven's Door. Heaven's Door is so OP. Legit my second favorite stand. I don't know if I've ever told you my first favorite stand. Can anyone guess it? I think some of you know it, but I'll let you guess it and I'll tell you next time. Okay, so he's like saying like, he's getting frustrated. He's like, what is it with you? You and your dad are both like this. And she's like, have you ever thought about true happiness? She explains that like, it's a memory. It's the time you spent with someone. It's like all these different events and things that like you cherish in your mind. And she reiterates again that she loves him. Which happens super fast, but okay. So she says by taking his memories, true happiness is her goal. So he gets cheesed off and he's trying to like break the chess piece. And she's like, I wouldn't do that. Doing that is gonna make the memory disappear forever. And I'm like, great. So it really is no use though. He just keeps asking like, huh? Did you take my memory? Like he can't retain any memory about his conversation with her, about taking the memory. Like it just, like it won't stick, you know? And so she says like out of fairness again, she'll even tell him her stand's weakness. So apparently if she steps on a shadow at your feet, that's the weakness. So she teases him that she's like gonna take an itty bitty step and try it. And the chess piece with his memory almost falls and breaks. And she's like, whoopsie, that was so close. She's so whimsical, but in a kind of antagonizing way. So yeah, so she says she's memorized where all the shadows and all the light and everything in the room is, so this is not going to be easy for him. So meanwhile, we see Yasuho gets home and she, as if it's not bad enough that she got thrown out, she finds her mom passed out with alcohol bottles all around her. Super sad. She sees that the mom has like what looks to be a hickey like on her chest. And Yasuho just starts crying. And I'm like, oh, baby girl, what an awful situation. It's implied that there's a lot of bad stuff going on here and they're not a happy family. So she gets mad and she storms out, but she's like, I don't even have anywhere to go. And I'm like, adopt, first of all. Second of all, so she remembers Josuke saying that he doesn't even know who he is. And then we see her opening this letter from everyone's family association and it's addressed to her. So apparently she sent away she didn't trust the police investigation completely. And she sent away DNA to be tested. And the results say that whoever she sent it for, they are the same person. So I think you see where this is going. She sent in DNA for Kira and for Josuke. So Josuke is Kira, but he's not. Because there's two different bodies. But the DNA says they're the same. So like, I don't know if he absorbed his DNA. Like, I don't know what happened here because they haven't told me. But at first, I was even like, maybe they're identical twins, because identical twins do have like DNA that matches like almost exactly, but they don't look identical. Like you can tell the difference between them when you see them, and I don't think that's I know that like identical twins, when you really get to know them, you can start to spot differences, but like your average person wouldn't be able to be like, oh wait, no, I guess that's not you, you know? Like it would be like seeing double. Also the whole ball thing, like that suggests there's something way more than just they're related. So at this point, I'm like, he's either cloned, like my theory with Speedwagon, or maybe just cloned in general, maybe not by Speedwagon, or there was a stand involved that like cloned Kira. And then I got thinking like maybe it was like his stand, maybe it's like a Notorious Big kind of thing, like the one in part 5 where the person's stand activates upon their death. Like maybe he died and like as a like the stand to like protect him or whatever cloned him. and just didn't get some of it right, took things that shouldn't and gave extra. I have no idea. So, maybe it was like Josuke's stand. You know, again, like it kind of seems like he took something pretty important from him. So I don't know, but like the theories are just going wild at this point. So she's like, this can't be right. I thought they might be brothers or relatives, but like this doesn't make any sense. Yasuho even mentions like, are they what is it? Well, are they clones or something? And then she sees the pic of Kira again, and she notices the mark on his wrist as well. So she recognizes it apparently from when she'd go over to Joshu's house to play. And Josuke, meanwhile, we cut back to Josuke and what he's doing, what he's up to. He's supposed to be helping Daya get ready to go shopping, and he decides to use his soap bubble to take the switch sound of the light switch so that he could turn off the light. So then he gets real close and he positions his shadow just right in front of her, but she's onto him. She can tell that he moved and she questions it, and she figures out super fast that he turned off the light in her closet so that his shadow would be cast from the light in the other room. And she's like, if you did something like that, that would kind of mean you're fussing over me, wouldn't it? And Josuke is just thinking like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Fin to chapter 8 and fin to this batch. This was a really good one, you guys. I'll talk about this individual chapter for a second and just say that, yeah, just the whole stand is really, really interesting. I love the idea. It's got elements of ones that we've seen before, but it's so different in the execution. Honestly, the bubbles are almost kind of like what Soft and Wet does, the soap bubble. I mean, yeah, so the soap bubble is part of Soft and Wet, right? Because Soft and Wet is just the actual like stand that stands there also, like the big robotic one. But I'm guessing the soap bubble is also his stand, right? Like they never really came out and said that, but like that's definitely his stand. Like what else would it be, you know? I know that in the past we've had characters have like weird like things that they can do that don't have anything to do with their stand. Like Giorno could do the ear thing, and Bruno had the like licking thing where he could like taste your lies. He could like taste your lies on your sweat. But like I think this is legit part of his stand. So correct me if I'm wrong. Anywho, you know, the bubble aspect of it and the bubble taking something kind of reminds me of Josuke's stand. The kind of like altering somebody's, I don't know what you would call it, just altering somebody in general kind of through the power of their mind. Reminds me a little bit of Heaven's Door. Of course, it reminds me a lot of White Snake. It can't actually steal a stand, but it can like steal, if you wanted to, you could steal people's, I mean, that's what White Snake did. Like it took like their stand, but also like their memories. So there was a component of it that was like almost exactly like this. So yeah, you could really like take away who a person, what? I mean, well, okay, part 6 spoiler in case you haven't seen part 6, but like, it's exactly what we did with Weather Report, right? So like, yeah, that could be really dangerous. Could be really OP in the right hands. I don't think she's using it for anything that serious. She's taking cat dreams and memories of riding bikes and things to help Josuke fall in love with her. So I don't think she's exactly a huge threat, but man, she's being pretty freaking annoying right now with this whole thing. But again, not really like, so like, I don't think she has intent to harm him, at least not at this point, you know? This is more just, in fact, if anything, she's like, I love you. And I'm like, oh girl, don't mess with my ship. And also like, I think she's a little bit younger than him. So like, it's not, baby girl, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out. You find someone your own age who loves yes and loves music and is not already possibly romantically entangled with a cute pink-haired girl. Because I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for the ship. It does not look good for the ship right now because she's been cast out. Also, her family situation is so sad. Like, I legit was just doing the tier list for parts 1 through 6 where I was like, you know what, Koichi's mom, like she was all right, but like it kind of sucks she didn't trust her own son and everything. Like, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. There's worse moms. There's worse moms. And whatever her mom has got going on and going through, it is very painful and tragic for all of them. I don't even know I don't even know where the dad is or if there is a dad in the picture. I don't think they've mentioned that she has any siblings yet, so... But yeah, you could tell it really affected her to see that like her mom was clearly engaging in some risky behaviors and behaviors that hurt her mentally and physically. I guess we'll put it that way. That's a nice way to put it without coming out and getting graphic, you know? So yeah. We got to know Daya a lot better. We got to know her stand, which again, I think it's such a cool stand, and I am obsessed with the design. Obsessed with the design for stand. Is just so stinking cute. It really is giving like Y2K girl. And I know this actually takes place in like 2011, but like I said, I like to think it's a little nod. Yeah, she's got it bad for Josuke though. She really does. And duh, the biggest thing of this whole chapter probably is the learning that they are genetically the same person. And I think I gave you all my thoughts on that I can really give you at this time. I am a little bit ahead, so I know a little bit more, but yeah, like, what? Again, I really love that they are giving us like a little morsel each time, you know, like we're doing other things. We're getting to know this family. We're getting to know new stands. We're doing stuff. We're learning stuff. You know, how is he mixed up with the Higashikatas? Because why would he have a mark that matched something on their staircase? I even had this wild theory that like, oh, he's a doctor. He's a ship's doctor anyway, but he's like a regular doctor as well. I'm sure like you have to study like regular medicine to be a ship's doctor. What if they're like keeping the mom upstairs and he comes and checks on the mom like discreetly or something, like as her doctor. I don't know. At this point in the game, I was all over the place, you guys. He's got me going. He's got me going with this mystery, and I'm all about it. So, really good batch. So overall, what did we do in this one? We learned about Kira. We found Kira's body. We found out they're genetically the same person. We got to meet the family, the Higashikata family. They don't seem, I don't know, like we don't really know a lot about like the model or the wife or we didn't even see the older brother, but I'm told that will be quite an event when we meet the older brother. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, like we didn't really get to know them, but like the dad is giving me real bad vibes. Daya, like I said, she's not really doing anything that harmful, you know? She's just kind of being a petulant child, but doesn't really seem like she has intent to harm. Just, it's really super annoying because like he's trying to get to the bottom of who he is, and you know, instead of being cool like Yasuho and helping him out, Yasuho legit got DNA from both of them and like sent it. Like, this girl is on it. Like, make her a private investigator or something. Like, have her join up with Speedwagon Foundation. Like, what the heck? You know, assuming they're not evil in this universe. I do love my evil Speedwagon theory. I think it's so good and juicy. As much as I hate to say evil Speedwagon. But it adds up though, right? Because he never met Jonathan. Like, it writes itself, you guys. I'm just the vessel. Okay, so, all right, you guys, this is a really good batch. This is a really fun one. We did a lot in this one. I'm gonna wrap it up. Next time we'll be doing, I think we're closing off this stand fight story, and then we're doing the family tree. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure we're doing the family tree next time. And guys who are not ready for the family tree, you are not ready for it. Let me just tell you right now. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed reading along with me. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. Please be sure to join me next time, and we will read it together. Bye for now, guys.